Wow, what a start to the month of March. Um, it's it's been quite eventful for some teams and a little bit tedious for some others. But yeah, the month has just started, and the month has just started, and it's things have gotten a little bit interesting in the standings as of to kick off NHL March Madness 2023. So without further ado, let's take a look at the playoff picture. There are 40 days left in the season, which is a lot, but still run out of time for some teams. Anyhow, okay. The Atlantic Division. Oh boy. The Atlantic Division, the Bruins have 103 points already. I think I read their pace is 64 wins, 135 points, which would which would be records for in both categories. But we'll see if they get there. So yeah, they have 103 points to lead the entire league. As far as the Atlantic, they're up by 19 points over Toronto. Toronto has 84 points, and Tampa has 79. Tampa, oh boy, that was a bad day in the office for them, wasn't it? 14 shots on goal, none in the second period, a 6-0 drubbing from Carolina, who just happens to lead the Metropolitan. See what I did there? Carolina's up by only 2 points. They have 90. New Jersey has 88. And the Rangers have 79. That's your Metro top three. As far as the wild card standings, the Islanders and Penguins hold the wild card spots. Islanders has 72 points. Pittsburgh has 71. Right behind them, the Sabres, Senators, and Panthers with 68 each. Same with Washington. It's going to be a very interesting month, March, in the Eastern Conference because it's very, very close in that wild card race. Even Detroit has an outside shot. They have 65 points. In the West, in the Central, Dallas leads with 81 points. They've been on a bit of a winning tear lately because they've been having trouble getting wins together. But Dallas leads at 81. Minnesota second with 78. The Avalanche and Jets are tied with 74 points, but we have 2 games in hand, so we are in that top three. We just moved into the top three. We lost in overtime to Seattle, but the 1 point put us in that tie with the Jets, so we are in the top three. In the Pacific, Vegas has 82 points. The Canes are second with 80, and the Kraken are third with 78. That's going to be an interesting race, too, because either one of those three could finish first at Pacific, and that's a big deal. The wild card positions are currently held by the Oilers and Jets. The Predators leapfrogged the Flames on Saturday, and the Blues, they're just playing out the rest of the season. So that's pretty much how it is in the West. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting. So again, nothing of note has happened as far as the playoff picture. Nobody is clinched. It's too early. It is supposedly too early for that. However, I think Boston could clinch sometime this week, maybe in a few days. But yeah, it's crazy. So the Bruins, let's see. Okay, they're 19 points ahead of Toronto in the division. As far as the conference, they're 13 points ahead of Carolina, and that's also the difference in the for the President's Trophy because Carolina's 90 points is second overall in the league. Now, I want to point out something here because about a month or so ago, there's been the debate over the playoff format reached a very high height because a lot of people have kind of been voicing their disappointment over this current format. Of course, this is the 10th. This is the 10th anniversary, if you will. It's the 10th season of this format, but it's actually this is actually overall the 8th. Yeah, it's the 8th year of this format because the COVID shortened seasons led to mock changes to the playoff format for those years only. Of course, in 2020 we had the 2014 24 teams qualified, and the qualifying round and round robins. And of course, in 21, that shortened season, we had they brought back the playoff format from the 80s and the first few years of the 90s. But the current format has top three teams in each division qualify. So that's 6 spots per conference. The other 2 are decided to be a wild card format, regardless of division. A lot of people I've heard people actually speak against this. I actually love this format. I love this format. I really do. Because it focuses on division rivalries. There are people who want to go back to the whole 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5 in each conference. That was the format that the NHL used beginning with the 93-94 season and up until the lockout shortened 2012-2013 season. So 19 seasons and 20 years of this. But some fans want that back. And it was reported that Sidney Crosby prefers the 1 versus 8 format. I think I once heard one or two people say they want 1 versus 16 overall. And I think, because that was the format that was used a long time ago. I think that was the last format used before they went to the top 4 each division qualified format. But so I just want to point this out. Say we do go back to 1 versus 8. Let's start there. Say we do go back to 1 versus 8. But first let's look at the matchups now. In the East, it would be Boston versus Pittsburgh in the Atlantic, because Pittsburgh would cross over to the Atlantic Division. It would be Boston versus Pittsburgh in the Atlantic, and it would be Toronto, Tampa Bay. And in the Metro, it would be Carolina versus the Islanders and Rangers versus New Jersey. In the West, in the Central, it would be Dallas versus, Dallas is second in the West, so it will be Dallas versus Edmonton. And it will be Minnesota and Colorado. In the Pacific, it will be Vegas versus Winnipeg. And it will be LA versus Seattle. Those are matchups in this current format. Now, if you do 1 versus 8, the old format from the 90s entered the 2000s and ending in 2013, it would be, let's see, okay, Boston and Carolina would be 1-2. Boston would face, let me see if I got the standings right. Let's see. New Jersey would be 3. Toronto would be 4. The Rangers would be 5. Tampa would be 5. The Rangers would be 6. The Islanders 4 and the Islanders 7 and Pittsburgh 8. So yeah, it would be Boston in the 1 versus 8 format. In the East, it would be Boston versus Pittsburgh. It would be Carolina versus the Islanders, and it would be New Jersey versus the Rangers, and Toronto versus Tampa Bay. So nothing would change. If it was 1 versus 8. Now in the West, let's see if I got this right. It would be Vegas would be 1 at the moment. Vegas would be 1. Dallas would be 2. Kings would be 3. Kings would be 3. Let's see. Minnesota and Seattle both have 68. Both have 78, same number of games played. Seattle would be 4. Minnesota would be 5. So that's one matchup. Seattle would face Minnesota. So that's one difference. Colorado would be 6. So we'd face the Kings. Actually, no. It said Colorado would be 6. Actually, Edmonton would be 6. Yeah, Edmonton would be 6. So Edmonton would face the Kings. We'd actually be 7. So we'd be facing Dallas. And Winnipeg would be facing Vegas. So there would be a few differences in the Western Conference bracket. Now, if they did 1 versus 16, If they did 1 versus 16, here's how it would go. In a 1 versus 16 format, Boston would face Pittsburgh, just like the other two. Crazy. Boston would face Pittsburgh. Carolina would face the Islanders, because Islanders would be 15th and Carolina would be 2nd. Number 3, New Jersey would face number 14, Winnipeg. Number 4, Toronto would face number 13, us, the Avs. Number 5, Vegas would face number 12, Edmonton. Number 6, Dallas would face number 11, Minnesota. That's an interesting one. Number 7, LA would face number 10, Seattle, and the 8-9 matchup would be the Tampa Bay and the Rangers. So you'd have some of the same matchups as the other formats, but yeah, they used to do 1 versus 16 back in the late 70s, early 80s, before they did the whole divisional thing. But I like this current format because it focuses on division rivalries. If you do 1 versus 16, you have East and West teams play each other in round 1, and that's a lot of travel. And if you do the 1 versus 8 thing in each conference, you take away the importance of division rivalries. Though, according to what I just pointed out, you might get some of the same matchups as you would for this format. So I just thought I'd just bring that up because I said it's kind of a big debate now. It's gotten bigger, but don't look for the league to change the format for another, like, I'm gonna say 5 years, because that's a lot to do, changing the format. Baseball just did it last year, so yeah, this is gonna stick around for another. This is what 10 seasons. This is gonna stick around for probably another 10. So it'll be a while before they consider changing the format again. So that's my recap of that's my look at the playoff picture. 40 days left in the season. 40 days and 40 nights. We all know that story. If you like this video, click the like button, click subscribe if you want more. I actually wrote about this on Vocal. A story about the dueling playoff format. Which is better, 1 versus 8 or the current one? I actually wrote about this, so it'll be in the description below. Check it out when you can, and I'll be back. I'll be back next Sunday to bring you the news on the latest on the playoff picture. And if Boston clinches this week, I have a video out congratulating them. So stay tuned.